Have you ever wondered if God still writes love stories? Rachel did, but not in the way little girls dream about fairy tales. No, her faith was battle-tested, burned through heartbreak, betrayal, and silent nights filled with nothing but prayer and tears. She had been in love before, more than once. Each time, she gave her heart honestly, only to have it returned bruised, torn, and misunderstood. There was Daniel, who led worship on Sunday, but led someone else on the rest of the week. Then Chris, the charming one who quoted scripture better than a pastor, till he ghosted her for someone less complicated. One by one, the promises faded, the text slowed, and the hope in her heart dimmed. And yet Rachel never let go of her faith. While her heart cracked, her prayers grew louder. While her friends laughed at waiting on God, she dug deeper into the Word. Lord, she would whisper by her window at midnight, I'm not asking for perfect, just someone who sees you and me on stays. She kept serving at church, mentored younger women, carried her Bible like a shield and a lifeline. But secretly, she started to wonder if her love story would be a testimony or a quiet surrender. Then came Jake. Not at a revival, not during a missions trip, but at a small cafe on a Tuesday morning. He wasn't looking for God, he was looking for strong coffee and a Wi-Fi signal. Jake was everything Rachel wasn't expecting. Finance executive in a tailored suit, charismatic, confident, and at first glance completely uninterested in anything spiritual. He overheard her leading a women's Bible group at the corner table, laughed under his breath, rolled his eyes, and yet stayed week after week. He kept coming back, not to mock, but to listen. Something about her quiet strength, the way she spoke about scripture, like it was oxygen, drew him in. One day he sat at the edge of her table and asked, Do you really believe God still cares who we fall in love with? Rachel looked at him, slightly guarded, slightly curious. With a soft smile, she said, I believe God cares more about who you become than just who you choose. But yes, I believe he still writes love stories. I just haven't read the last chapter of mine yet. Jake chuckled. You speak like someone who's lost and still believes in maps. She smiled. I just know who my guide is. What started as coffee turned into conversations. Conversations turned into connection. And connection slowly became affection. But when something feels too good to be true, it usually is right. Rachel began to feel the old fear creeping back, the hesitation, the voice in her head whispering, You've seen this movie before? It doesn't end well. And Jake? He wasn't perfect either. His past came with baggage. Old relationships, temptations, a career that prized hustle over holiness. He struggled with control, with faith, with letting anyone see the vulnerable version of himself. Rachel wanted to run. She almost did. Until one night Jake showed up outside her church, wet from the rain, holding her favorite coffee and her old Bible she had forgotten in his car. He handed it to her without a word. She opened it and saw a bookmark tucked into 1 Corinthians 13. I don't just want to love you, I want to learn how to love like that. Patient, kind, without fear. With Christ at the center, he looked her in the eyes and said, I read it. Every verse. Over and over. And I realized her heart broke and healed all at once. They didn't rush. They prayed, fasted, talked through wounds instead of hiding them. They set boundaries, read scripture together, attended pre-marriage counseling with their pastor even before anyone mentioned the word engagement. And slowly, they built a love that wasn't flashy, but unshakable. One morning, Jake asked her to meet him at the cafe where it all began. She walked in and saw a familiar Bible on the table, open to Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. ... He stood, nervous but sure. I know I want to seek him with you. Every high, every valley, every miracle. I, Dante, just want to marry you. I want to honor the God who brought me to you, because I know now. God wrote this love story. Pulled a small box from his coat. Rachel, I don't know the future, but I know who holds it. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Not from surprise, but from peace. Peace that came from surrender. Peace that whispered, this time, it's him. They didn't promise a perfect life, but they promised to pray more than they argued, to forgive quickly, to always point each other back to Jesus. Because when God writes your story, he doesn't just restore what was broken. He creates something brand new built on faith, purpose, and eternal love. Rachel's love story wasn't a straight line. It was a battlefield. But on the other side was Buddha, not because of who Jake was, but because of who God is. And when she finally let go of her timeline, he gave her his masterpiece.